Hello students, welcome to GoPrep. My name is Anureet and I'm a physics tutor at GoPrep. Today we will discuss the solutions of GTSE 2020 slot 2, right? So I'll start with the physics section. So let's start with the first question of physics section. A ball is thrown vertically upward from a surface of earth with velocity 18 km per hour, ठीक है? और g is approximately this much, then the maximum height attained by the ball is, it's very simple question है ना. तो आपने बॉल को थ्रो किया, कितनी वेलोसिटी से थ्रो किया? 18 किलोमीटर पर आवर से. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल द यूनिट ऑफ g इज इन मीटर पर सेकेंड स्क्वायर, दैट इज SI यूनिट, तो हमें इसको भी SI यूनिट में कन्वर्ट करना पड़ेगा. सो 18 को हम क्या करेंगे? 5/18 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे टू कन्वर्ट इट इनटू मीटर पर सेकेंड. तो आंसर कितना आएगा? 5 मीटर पर सेकेंड. सो बॉल इज थ्रोन विद 5 मीटर पर सेकेंड इन द अपवर्ड डायरेक्शन. So we need to find what is the maximum height attained by this ball. So maximum height पे जाके ball का velocity कितना होगा? Final velocity will be 0. So at the maximum height, final velocity of the ball is 0. So we need to find कितना है ये maximum height. So we need to find this displacement, right? Our acceleration is in the downward direction. That is g. That is 10 meter per second square, right? So let's write. S हमें फाइंड करना है डिस्प्लेसमेंट. U का वैल्यू कितना है? +5 मीटर पर सेकेंड, क्योंकि हम क्या करते हैं? अपवर्ड डायरेक्शन को पॉजिटिव ले लेते हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली डाउनवर्ड डायरेक्शन विल बी नेगेटिव. यू कैन कंसीडर एनी डायरेक्शन टू बी पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव, दैट्स नॉट अ कंस्ट्रेंट. So acceleration here is in the downward direction, so we will keep it negative, that is meter per second square. Great. So let's and we know that final velocity is 0. So let's apply v square minus u square is equal to 2as. Why this equation? क्योंकि हमें टाइम नहीं पता. तो हम टाइम क्यों फाइंड करें? हमें फाइनल वेलोसिटी पता है, इनिशियल वेलोसिटी पता है, बाकी दो इक्वेशंस ऑफ मोशन में टाइम आता है, ठीक है. सो वी विल गो फॉर दिस इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन. फाइनल वेलोसिटी इज 0, इनिशियल वेलोसिटी 5. सो व्हेन यू विल सॉल्व दिस, you will get the answer of displacement as 25 divided by 20, and the correct answer is A, that is 1.25 meter. When you will solve this, you will get 1.25 meter as the answer. So next question is a shell of mass m moving with velocity v. This is mass m, it is moving with velocity v. It explodes into two pieces, right? One part of the mass is m/4 remains stationary, so इसका velocity हो जाता है 0. The velocity of the other part is moving with velocity v2. Okay, v1 is 0, final velocity of one part is 0. Other part, what is the mass of the other part? Mass is conserved. So if this is m/4, तो other part का mass कितना होगा? 3m/4, because total mass m है, तो m में से m/4 माइनस करेंगे तो you will get 3m/4. So this is the mass of the other part. We need to find the velocity of this part. Now we know that there is no external force acting on the body. बॉडी अपने आप एक्सप्लोड कर रहा है, बाहर से कोई फोर्स नहीं लग रहा, ओनली इंटरनल फोर्सेस आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल. सो जब एक्सटर्नल फोर्स 0 होता है तो चेंज इन मोमेंटम अपॉन टाइम इज आल्सो इक्वल टू 0. सो दैट मींस चेंज इन मोमेंटम इज इक्वल टू 0. तो मोमेंटम क्या होगा? कंजर्व. तो फाइनल मोमेंटम शुड बी इक्वल टू इनिशियल मोमेंटम, क्योंकि चेंज इन मोमेंटम क्या होता है? फाइनल माइनस इनिशियल, P फॉर मोमेंटम, राइट? मोमेंटम का फॉर्मूला क्या होता है? मास इंटू वेलोसिटी. ग्रेट. सो व्हाट इज द इनिशियल मोमेंटम ऑफ द सिस्टम? पहले सिस्टम में एक ही शेल है जिसका वेलोसिटी है v. So initial momentum is mv. What is the final momentum? ये वाले पार्ट का मोमेंटम तो 0 है. What about the momentum of this part? This part's momentum is 3m/4 into v2. ठीक है. So this is the final momentum of the system. सिस्टम का पार्ट ये पूरा सिस्टम है, हम एक बॉक्स में रख देते हैं तो ये एक्सप्लोड करेगा, तो इसके अंदर दो पीसेज आएंगे, ठीक है. तो वो सिस्टम का पार्ट है, जिसमें से एक पीस तो रेस्ट पे आ गया है, तो अदर पीस का मोमेंटम ये है. अब फाइनल मोमेंटम शुड बी इनिशियल मोमेंटम equal to initial momentum. So let's equate these two. So you will get the answer. mm cancel out हो जाएगा. So v is v2. We need to find v2 ना. v2 is 4v/3. 4v/3. So correct answer is D. So this is the velocity of the other remaining part of the shell. Great. Okay. In sports of lacrosse, players wear shoes with screw in their studs on the soles to do what? We know that studs क्या करते हैं? बेसिकली ग्रिप बढ़ाने के लिए, ग्राउंड के साथ जो ग्रिप है उसको इंक्रीज करने के लिए स्टड्स पहनते हैं ना. तो स्टड्स में बेसिकली स्टड्स क्या करते हैं? ग्रिप इंक्रीज करते हैं. तो ग्रिप कैसे इंक्रीज होती है? बाय इंक्रीजिंग द फ्रिक्शन बिटवीन द टू सर्फेसेस, राइट? तो फ्रिक्शन इंक्रीज करने के लिए ऐसा किया जाता है. तो इंक्रीज द फ्रिक्शन बिटवीन द सर्फेस एंड द बूट. तो सर्फेस इन कॉन्टेक्ट क्या है? ग्राउंड एंड बूट्स. इंक्रीज द फ्रिक्शन. दिस वाज वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन. ओके, अ साउंड वेव सोर्स produces 15 crests and 15 troughs in 0.3 seconds. We know कि एक क्रेस्ट और एक ट्रफ मिलके एक वेव होता है ना. एक वेव में क्या होता है, एक क्रेस्ट होता है, एक ट्रफ होता है. ग्रेट. सो 15 क्रेस्ट और 15 ट्रफ्स का मतलब क्या है, 15 वेव्स. 15 क्रेस्ट एंड 15 ट्रफ्स का मीन्स, इट मीन्स 15 waves are formed in how much time? 0.3 seconds. So can we find the time taken to form one wave? Exactly. Unitary method लगाएं तो simple. इसको 15 से डिवाइड करेंगे तो you will get 50. So 1/50 seconds में एक वेव फॉर्म होता है. So this is the time period, right? एक वेव का जो एक वेव फॉर्म होने में जितना टाइम लगता है, that is time period of the wave. ठीक है. So time period of the wave is 1/15 second. So what is the frequency of the wave? Frequency of the wave is 1/t. So this will be 1/t is 1/50. So this will be 50 hertz. Xz is hertz. This is the frequencies SI unit. Okay. So this is clear. और सिंपली आप ये भी ऐसे भी निकाल सकते थे इसको, लाइक एक सेकेंड के अंदर जितनी वेव्स फॉर्म होती हैं, ठीक है, उसको हम फ्रीक्वेंसी बोलते हैं. तो 0.3 सेकेंड में कितनी वेव्स फॉर्म हुई? 0.3 सेकेंड के अंदर 15 वेव्स फॉर्म हुई. तो एक सेकेंड के अंदर कितनी वेव फॉर्म होगी? 15/0.3 वेव्स फॉर्म होंगी. अब इसको अगर आप सॉल्व करोगे, अगेन यू विल गेट द वेरी सेम आंसर, दैट इज 50 हर्ट्ज. ओके. Either you can find the time period, then take its reciprocal, or you can directly find the frequency, that is number of waves formed in 1 second. Correct answer is A. Okay. So there are 3 holes at different locations from the bottom of the bottle are made in a barrel and containing water in it. Identify the correct option. तो आपको बताना है कि मैक्सिमम डिस्टेंस कौन सी आउटलेट से निकलने वाला वाटर ट्रेवल करेगा. अच्छा, मैक्सिमम डिस्प्लेसमेंट कौन ट्रेवल करेगा? जहां पे मैक्सिमम वेलोसिटी होगी, है ना. तो मैक्सिमम वेलोसिटी किस में होगी? जहां पे मैक्सिमम फोर्स लगेगा. मैक्सिमम फोर्स कब होगा? जब प्रेशर मैक्सिमम होगा. प्रेशर इज इक्वल टू फोर्स अपॉन एरिया. सो फोर्स इज इक्वल टू प्रेशर इनटू एरिया. अब एरिया ऑफ द होल्स तो सेम ही है ना. तो हमें किस पे ध्यान देना है? प्रेशर पे ध्यान देना है. तो ज्यादा फोर्स कहां पे लगेगा? जहां पे प्रेशर ज्यादा होगा. एंड वी नो दैट pressure in the water or any liquid increases with the increase in the depth from the surface of the liquid. So in this case, pressure is maximum. Pressure is maximum in the case of third hole, right? थर्ड होल में प्रेशर मैक्सिमम लग रहा होगा. यहाँ पे P max लगेगा तो इसकी वेलोसिटी मैक्सिमम होगी. तो जिसकी वेलोसिटी मैक्सिमम होगी वहां पे वो मैक्सिमम डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल करेगा. ठीक है. तो वाटर फ्लोइंग फ्रॉम दिस होल विल ट्रेवल द मैक्सिमम डिस्टेंस. So this is the last question. A car traveling normally towards a cliff. So there is a cliff और यहाँ पे क्या है? एक गाड़ी है, वो ट्रेवल कर रही है नॉर्मली, मतलब ऐसे परपेंडिकुलर टू इट. कितनी स्पीड से? 50 मीटर पर सेकेंड से. ठीक है. It blows horn when it is at 0.7 किलोमीटर अवे. So let's convert this kilometer into meter first. Okay. 700 मीटर आएगा, multiply it by 1000. Taking the speed of sound to be 300. Find the time taken for the driver to hear its echo. तो अपने को पता है कि यहाँ से जब वो हॉर्न ब्लो करेगा, ठीक है, तो वो साउंड क्या करेगी? जाएगी क्लिफ के साथ, क्या करेगी? हिट करेगी, टकराएगी और वापस रिफ्लेक्ट होके किसके पास आएगी? इस जहां से मतलब पर्सन रिसीवर के पास आएगी. सो दिस इज द रिसीवर. वो कहाँ पे बैठा है? वो कार के अंदर ट्रेवल कर रहा है. पर्सन ही रिसीवर है और उसी ने हॉर्न बजाया. तो आपको बताना है तो वो एको को कितने टाइम के बाद रिसीव करेगा. ठीक है. So this was a good question. So let's see how to solve this question. Let's move to the next page. We have 700 meter and 50 meter per second. Great. तो क्या करना है? सबसे पहले तो जब इसने हॉर्न ब्लो किया तो डिस्टेंस था 700 मीटर फ्रॉम दिस क्लिफ. ठीक है. So speed of sound is 300 meter per second. Okay. So this sound generated at t is equal to 0 will travel 700 meter and hit the wall and then it will reflect back. So सबसे पहला केस क्या है? जब वो हिट करेगी तो कितना डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल करेगी? 700 मीटर डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल करेगी. ठीक है. कितनी स्पीड से ट्रेवल करेगी? इतनी स्पीड या वेलोसिटी से ट्रेवल करेगी. ठीक है. तो डिस्टेंस अपॉन टाइम क्या होगा? डिस्टेंस अपॉन टाइम तो स्पीड होता है. वी नो दैट. As this is a uniform motion, उसका स्पीड चेंज नहीं हो रहा है. तो अपने को फाइंड करते हैं कि कितने टाइम में वो रीच करेगी वॉल पे, तो इसको लिख देते हैं T1। तो T1 टाइम पे वो साउंड यहाँ पे रीच करेगी, कितना टाइम आएगा वो, दैट विल बी इक्वल टू डिस्टेंस अपॉन स्पीड। सो डिस्टेंस हियर इज 700 और स्पीड कितना है, स्पीड इज 300 मीटर पर सेकेंड। ग्रेट, सो दिस विल बी 7/3, कितना आएगा ये अप्रोक्सीमेटली, इट विल बी 2.33, है ना, 2 3 6, ठीक है, ग्रेट, 2.33 सेकेंड। तो इतने सेकेंड में तो वो रीच करेगी, तो पहला टाइम तो ये हो गया। अब वो रिफ्लेक्ट करेगी, ठीक है, बट उस टाइम के अंदर एज यू नो ये ट्रॉली भी तो मूव कर रही है ना, गाड़ी भी मूव कर रही है, तो ये कितना डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल करेगी, लेट्स फाइंड दैट। तो इन T1 टाइम कार कितना डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल करेगी, कार ट्रेवल हाउ मच डिस्टेंस, डिस्टेंस क्या होगा, स्पीड इनटू टाइम। तो कार ट्रेवल करेगी कितना डिस्टेंस, स्पीड कितना है कार का 50 ना, and distance we need to find and the time is given to us 2.33. So when you will multiply it with it, कितना आएगा ये, 5 3s are 15, 5 3s are 15, 16, 11, ठीक है। So this will be 116.5। तो ये डिस्टेंस है जो गाड़ी ट्रेवल कर लेगी। तो सिचुएशन कुछ ऐसी होगी, जब वो साउंड यहाँ पे रिफ्लेक्ट होना स्टार्ट करेगी, दिस इज एट t is equal to 2.33 सेकेंड, यहाँ पे होगी T1 टाइम पे, है ना। तो ये डिस्टेंस कितना होगा, अभी कितना डिस्टेंस बचा, ये साउंड आ रही है यहाँ से, ठीक है, और ये गाड़ी जा रही है आगे की तरफ 550 की स्पीड से और ये 300 की स्पीड से ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में मूव कर रही है। तो कितना डिस्टेंस बचा इन दोनों के बीच में, इट विल बी 700 माइनस 11.116.5, राइट। सो यू कैन कैलकुलेट दिस डिस्टेंस, कितना आएगा ये, सो इट विल कम्स आउट टू बी, लेट्स कैलकुलेट इट, इट इज 5, दिस इज 9, 3, 8 and 5, right? So it comes out to be 583.5 exactly, ठीक है। So this is the distance, that is the remaining distance between the car and the sound, जो echo के बीच में और कार के बीच में distance है, तो that is the relative distance between these two. So what is the relative velocity between these two? ठीक है, हम relative velocity को यूज करके इस क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करेंगे। So अब दोनों एक दूसरे को अप्रोच कर रही हैं, तो we know अप्रोच करती हैं तो velocities क्या हो जाती है, एड ऑन हो जाती है, राइट। सो relative velocity होगी इन दोनों के बीच में 300 + 50, so this is the relative velocity। तो ये relative velocity है, ये तुम्हारा relative distance है, तो हमें टाइम फाइंड करना है, तो velocity is equal to क्या होगा, relative distance डिवाइड बाय टाइम। जब वो रीच करेंगे तो टाइम निकालने के लिए क्या करेंगे, 583.3 डिवाइड बाय 350, इसको डिवाइड कर देंगे। तो when you will divide it, let me solve this, let me find the value of this, so it will comes out to be 583 divided by 350, so it is 1.66, ठीक है, 1.67 यू कैन से, इतना सेकंड हो चुका होगा। और प्रीवियस टाइम कितना हो चुका था, इससे पहले कितना टाइम हुआ था, दैट वाज 2.33, राइट। सो दिस कम्स आउट टू बी, जब हम इस T2 को लेट इट बी T2, तो T2 की वैल्यू इतनी है, जब आप T2 + T1 करोगे तो आपके पास आंसर आएगा 3.99, जिसको अप्रोक्सीमेटली हम 4 सेकेंड बोल देंगे, ठीक है। तो आई होप दिस इज क्लियर, दिस वाज द लास्ट क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम फिजिक्स सेक्शन। नाउ द रिस्पेक्टिव टीचर विल स्टार्ट विद द केमिस्ट्री सेक्शन, ठीक है, थैंक यू।
So this is the slot 2 discussion, right, for GCSE chemistry. Okay, so first question is, which of the following statements are false about natural gas? Natural gas, everyone knows it is a fossil fuel. Main component is methane and is used as a fuel. बिल्कुल correct. Main component 80 to 85% methane होती है इसमें. First statement is absolutely correct. It is used as raw material for manufacturing of fertilizers. Again correct. It is used for the generation of electricity. Biogas में use किया जाता है इसको, right? Fourth option is, it is an inexhaustible ball. Easy question था, बताइए। तो inexhaustible natural source होती है, that is wrong. It is a non-renewable or exhaustible source of energy because it is a fossil fuel. So correct option will be option A. Correct answer will be option A. That means D statement will be the wrong one. Okay. Question number 8 पे students, beaker Q contains hydrochloric acid and on mixing purple cabbage, what will occur? What will happen? So purple cabbage, if used as an indicator, we use it as purple cabbage juice, right? Purple cabbage juice turns red when acidic substance is present and it changes its colors from purple to green. That is it turns into green color when basic solution is present. So hydrochloric acid is an acid, so it will become or it will turn into red. So correct answer will be option B. Option B will be the correct answer, right? Now, which among the following are the correct statements? Acid rain is harmful to agriculture. पहली बात, acid rain कैसे होती है? Acid rain होती है due to the presence of harmful oxides of sulfur and nitrogen. Generally, nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide की concentration से increased presence से in the atmosphere it occurs, right? So acid rain is harmful to agriculture. It is very harmful. If the water is extremely acidic, it will affect the soil and the plant growth, and it may also lead to decay of plant or death of the plant. Second, it causes respiratory ailments directly. Acid rain does not causes respiratory ailments, but the gases by which acid rain occurs, if those gases are present in large amounts in our atmosphere, then it will cause respiratory ailments or diseases, right? So it is also correct. It is also an effect for this. Acid rain damages buildings. We all know acid rain can corrode the surface of the buildings which are made up of marbles and stone, right? So it is also correct. Acid rain is caused by the excess of H2S. No, it is caused by the excess of SO2 and nitrogen oxide in atmosphere. So this one is wrong. That means correct statements are 1, 2 and 3, which brings us to the correct answer, option number C. So C option is the correct answer, right? Moving on, question number 10. Which of the following pollutants act as powerful eye irritants? So there are VOCs, volatile organic compounds, which are cause of eye irritations, right? Volatile organic compounds, and some of these are PAN, that is peroxyacetyl nitrate. PAN is peroxyacetyl nitrate, right? And many of these VOCs combine with the sunlight to form ozone, which is also a eye irritant. So 1 and 3 will be the eye irritants here. Ozone and PAN will be the eye irritants here. So option A will be the correct answer here. Hydrocarbons are not the causes of eye irritation, right? So 1 and 3 are the correct answer here. PAN, students, it is present in large amounts in photochemical smog. Okay, so correct option is option A. Moving on, next question. Read the statements below and choose the correct option. So non-metals react with oxygen to form acidic oxides. Ekdam correct hai statement, absolutely correct. Metals form basic oxides and amphoteric oxides, whereas non-metals form acidic oxides, as well as some non-metals form neutral oxides also. But generally non-metals, they form acidic oxides, right? So nitrogen being a non-metal, statement 2 read कर रहे हैं हम लोग. Nitrogen being a non-metal reacts with oxygen in atmosphere to form oxides of nitrogen at normal conditions of temperature and pressure. This statement is wrong, students. Listen to me very carefully. Nitrogen contains triple bond between the molecules. You will understand when you will study about bonding, chemical bonding. So nitrogen molecule is highly stable at room temperature. The energy required to break the bonds between two nitrogen atoms is very large. That energy cannot be achieved at normal temperature and pressure. So nitrogen is inert or non-reactive at room temperature. Everybody should know this, right? So at normal conditions, nitrogen will not combine with oxygen. So statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 1 is correct. That means correct answer will be option A. First correct, second incorrect, right? Moving on. Next question is, techniques of separation of organic compounds can be employed for conducting various tests. Okay. One of the most important uses involves conducting blood tests to find alcohol levels in the blood of an individual. That's okay. The method used for this procedure. Now, we are dealing with small quantities. We are not dealing with a large amount of quantities. So for large amount of quantities, distillation, fractional distillation, these are used generally. So in this case, chromatography is the technique which is used where adsorption helps us to separate both the components, that is blood and alcohol. It is a very rapid method also, and generally chromatographic techniques are used for minute separation. That means for separation of compounds which are present in minute quantity, right? So chromatography, that means option C is the correct answer here. Okay, you will learn more about chromatography in higher classes. Now, the last question we have is, which of the following set of metals will not evolve hydrogen from water? Now, you must remember the activity or the reactivity series for metals. So we can see all we have to do is compare one metal in each option which will displace hydrogen from water, right? Which will be above water, right? So magnesium is higher in reactivity series, it will displace hydrogen, right? So this one will be not the answer. Silver is less reactive, gold is less reactive, but zinc is more reactive, so it will also displace, zinc will displace here. Chromium will displace hydrogen, copper and silver will not, so it is also not the answer. So correct answer is option A, because copper, beryllium and silver, both of them, all three of them will not be able to evolve hydrogen. Okay, so option A is the correct answer here.
Hello students, I hope your GTSC went very well and you are excited to know the answers of the various questions. So I am here to discuss the biology part. My name is Abha Pandey and I am a biology faculty at GoPrep. So the very first question in the biology part was a very straightforward question. The question is asking example of weedicides. So basically weedicides are the chemical which are used to destroy the weeds. And what are weeds? Weeds are the unwanted plants which grow along with the main crop. So among the given option, 2, 4D is an example of a weedicide. So moving to the next question. The next question is saying the grass is rich in a special kind of complex carbohydrate that can be easily digested by ruminants. This carbohydrate is basically, if we talk about the ruminants, they are grass eating animal. They have a complex stomach. So grass is basically rich in a complex carbohydrate, that is cellulose, and the ruminants have enzyme to digest those cellulose. They have cellulase to digest the cellulose. So the correct answer is option C. I hope you have marked the answers correctly. Moving to the next question. The question is, read the statement which is related to the digestive system and choose a word for it. And the statement is transportation of absorbed food to different parts of the body and utilization. Okay, so if you talk about the Holozoic mode of nutrition, it has the very first step, that is ingestion, which is intake of food. This ingestion is followed by digestion, which is breakdown of complex food material into simpler one. This digestion, it is followed by absorption, that is absorption of digested food by blood, and this absorption is followed by a step known as assimilation. So what happens in assimilation? The blood will transport the absorbed food to all the cells, to all the parts of the body, and after this the cells will utilize that food to perform various activities. So the correct answer is option A. I hope you have marked it correctly. Moving to the next question. The question is saying, given below are the statements about the effect of weed on crop plant. As in the question number 14, I told you that weeds are the unwanted plant which grow along with the main crop. So what they do? They compete with the main crop for water, for nutrient, for space and light, and hence they affect their growth as well as they interfere in harvesting. And that's why they do not allow the crop to grow healthy. They interfere in their nutrition uptake and everything, and hence that does not allow them to grow properly. So in this question we need to select the correct combination. If you can see, the very first combination is they interfere in harvesting. Absolutely they do. They help crop plant to grow healthy. No, they do not allow the crop plant to grow healthy. They compete with crop plants. Obviously they do compete, and that's why they affect the growth of the plant. So which means statement 1, 3 and 4 are correct. So the option A is correct. Moving to the next question. The question is saying the outermost boundary of a green algal cell is made up of a substance known as. If you know, alga, they belong to the plantae kingdom. Okay. All the algae they belong to the plantae kingdom, and the cell wall of the plants are primarily made up of cellulose. So which means obviously the cell wall of algal cell will be made up of cellulose. Moving to the next question. A slide of human cheek cell is prepared by staining it with methylene blue and mounting it glycerin. Which of the following would you able to see clearly under a compound microscope? Basically it is talking about a normal microscope. So if we talk about the nucleus, it takes the stain very densely, and we can normally see the nucleus under the compound microscope. And obviously cell wall will not be the answer because it is talking about an animal cell, and it is difficult for us to observe various organelles such as ribosome and Golgi body using the compound microscopes. The correct answer will be option B. Moving to the next question. The question is saying in the taxonomic hierarchy, family comes between. So if you talk about the various taxonomic hierarchy, the taxonomical rank, they are kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus and species. So if we see, the family comes between the order and genus. So the correct answer will be option B. I hope you have marked it correctly. So yes, I hope you found the questions interesting and you have marked the answers correctly. Now you can discuss your mathematics part.
Hello and welcome to the math section, guys, of the slot 2. If you have still not attempted the test, you can attempt it in the next slots. Okay, so let's look at these questions. So in the first question, you can see that the perpendicular distance of the point P from the x-axis is 5 units, right? So you can draw these type of questions could be done if you can draw these lines, right? Let's try to draw this. So if I have drawn a line like this, okay, it says that it is 5 units from the x-axis. So the height of it would be x-axis. So either this 5 or this 5, right? And it is saying it is lying on the negative direction of x-axis. It still does not have any effect on the distance from the x-axis, right? Because even if it can be here, the point can be here on this line. So therefore, the y coordinate can be either 5 or minus 5. In both the conditions, it is right. So D is the right option. Let's go for the next question. So in this question, you just have to look that, okay, we need to rationalize. This question is completely based on rationalization. So first of all, you need to rationalize x, okay, because this value is very large to be worked on. So what we can do is we can rationalize. I have done that. Let me show you this. You can obviously do that. So root 3 plus root 2 upon root 3 minus root 2. What do you have to multiply with? So actually we want to rationalize the denominator. So we'll multiply it with the conjugate of it. That is the plus sign. Okay. So now you can see the numerator will finally come at root 3 plus root 2 whole square. Right. And the denominator will simply become a square minus b square. That is 3 minus 2. That is 1. Right. This will be 1 only. So now what is the whole square of root 3 plus root 2 whole square? It will be 3 plus 2 a square plus b square plus 2 root 3 into root 2. That is 5 plus root 6. So this is our x. Y is given as 1. Let's try to solve x minus y and x minus 3y. So guys, if you can directly see there, I have got 5 plus 2 root 6. Now I have subtracted y and minus 3y. Y was 1. So now it will be 4 plus 2 root 6 and 2 plus 2 root 6. So I will cancel out the 2 here. I will take 2 common, so it will become 2 plus root 6 and it will become 1 plus root 6. Again, 2 plus root 6 and 1 plus root 6 can be rationalized because still we have a irrational denominator. So we'll multiply it with 1 minus root 6 and 1 minus root 6. So finally we'll see that the above thing will become 2 minus 2 root 6 plus root 6 minus 6. Right? Root 6 and root 6 will multiply to get 6. And the denominator will have 1 minus 6 only. So it will be minus 5. So finally you can cancel out the minus sign. You will get root 6 plus 4 upon 5. If you look at the option, D is the right option. Let's go for the next question. This question is again very easy. You just have to convert 2.5 in its fraction form and the thing will be done. But first of all, we also need to understand what is 3 to the power 7, what will become 729. So 327, after will increase 81, 243, and it will grow like that, right? So it will be like 3, 9, 27, 81, 243, and then 729. Right, that will be the case. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is 3 to the power 6. Right, 729 is 3 to the power 6. We'll write it like that. So write it like that. 3 to the power 6 and 2 by 5. Right, so 2.5 is 10 upon 4, and it is whole cube. Right, whole cube root. So we'll find out 3 into 6, 6 into 10 to the 10 upon 4 into this 3 will come as the fraction. Now we can finally find it out. So we'll cancel this by 2 and then cancel this by 2. We'll get 3 to the power 5. 3 to the power 5. Let's check what is 3 to the power 5. It is 243. Right? I have written all the powers of 3. So therefore C is the right option. Let's go for the next question. In this question, we just need to find out that if this is a factor of this, we will apply the factor theorem. So factor theorem says that if f of a, if x minus a is a factor of fx, therefore f of a will be 0. That means 2x minus 4. First of all, we have to complete 2x minus 4 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 4 upon 2. So that is 2. So we have to, so in this case, f of 2 must be equal to 0, and that will help us to find the value of a. So if you will solve this, what we'll get? 2 to the power 4 minus a into 2 cube, 2 into 2 to the power 2 minus 7 into 2 plus 2. And this must be equated to 0. So all of these will cancel out. We'll get 12 is equal to 8a, and a will be equal to 3 upon 2. You can solve this on your own. You just need to apply this one, this thing. Okay, let's go ahead. Which of the following is a 0 of the polynomial? So guys, in this case, we again have to apply the factor theorem. We have to check f of minus 1 is equal to 0 or not. Yes or no, you have to check. Right? If it is yes, then it is a factor. If it is a no, it is not a factor. Similarly, you have to check for f0, f1, and f of 2. After checking all of this, you will get that f of 2, in case of f of 2, you will get 2 to the power 4, 3 into 2 to the power 3. So it will all corresponds to 16 plus 24 is 40, 40 minus 40 will be 0. So I have checked that 2 is the final answer. You can check for all these 3, right? There will be not equal to 0. There will be not equal to 0, okay? Now in this case, again, we have to draw the diagram because the perpendicular distance of a point from x-axis is 3 units. So from x-axis it is 3 units, right? So it can be here or here, 3 units, right? Right, it could be here also, right? All these points can be probable answer, but this line or this line, right? The perpendicular distance of y-axis is 4 units. So from y-axis it is 4 units. So it could be either this or this, right? It is saying that the point lies in the 4th quadrant. So it is lying in the 4th quadrant. So therefore, in this case, x will be positive and the y will be negative. Let's look at for the x will be positive. So there are y will be negative. So 4 and minus 3 will be the right answer, right? In this case also, we have to find out the smallest natural number. So we will find out the prime factorization of it, and we have to form triplets, right? Whatever has 3 parts of it, like 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, we'll leave them apart, right? Whatever left, which does not have the third pair of it, like the third repetition of itself, we will just remove it, right? Or just have to, for example, just look at this. So I have done the prime factorization of it, 2, 15, 0, 9, 2. So we can see that 2 has all its triplets, 7 has all its triplets, but 11 is alone. So removing 11 will actually help to make it a perfect cube. So remove 11. So B is the right answer. You can do it on your own. So now in this question again, this is a bit good question. 2 to the power x minus 1. So we can write it as 2 to the power x into 1 upon 2. Right? Similarly, 2 to the power x plus 1 can be written as 2 to the power x into 1 into 2. Right? This 1 will be as a power of 2 to the power 1. So now we have to add this. So if you will add this, you'll get 2 to the power x upon 2, 2 to the power x. And we'll take 2 to the power x common. We'll get 1 upon 2 plus 2. It will be 5 upon 2. 2 plus half is 5 upon 2. We'll cancel it out. We'll get 512 into 2, that is 1024. What is 1024 in the powers of 2? So if we'll check 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 2 to the power 10 is 1024. So therefore A is the right answer. Now this is a very simple question of direct variation, direct and indirect variation. So it is a question of direct variation. 8 bottles fill 12 liters. So how many bottles fill 150 liters? So it is, we can see that it is a direct variation, right? The bottles are increasing, the liters of water would increase, right? That is meant by direct variation. So 8 for 12. So let's say for x bottles we need 150 liters of water. So 8 upon x, simply direct variation. We'll try to find it out. So 4 2 are 8, 4 3 are 12, then 350, 3 5 and 0. So 50 into 2 will be x is equal to 100. So therefore 100 liters of water, 100 bottles will fill 150 liters of water. So A is the right answer. In this question again, you have to find the value of f1, f0 and f of minus 1. That means, what does that mean? That means you have to put 1 in place of x, 0 in place of x, or minus 1 in place of x, and find the values, all three in different calculations, and then you have to put it here. So I have tried to find it out. So f1 I have got 1, f0 I again got 1 because all the x will become 0 and there will only will be left with this one. And finally f of minus 1 has also come out to be minus 1. So we'll try to use it. So this is 1 minus 1 plus of 2 into minus 1. So this will come out as minus 2. So therefore C would be the right answer. These questions are very easy, guys. Now again, if you go through the formulas, when a plot is sold, so this is the SP, right? And this is the loss percentage. So we need to find out first of all, we need to find out the CP. So we'll take the CP as X, right? And we'll apply the formula for SP minus CP is what? Gain. But here we actually had loss. So CP minus SP is equal to loss. Right, so we'll simply apply this formula CP minus SP upon loss upon CP into 100 will become loss percentage, right? Loss percentage is given as 15, so we'll apply it. Just look at it. So X minus 18,700 upon X into 100 is equal to 15. So 100X minus 00 multiplied here, so we'll get 15X this side, 85X is equal to this. So I have got X is equal to 22,000 and that is equal to the CP. So now when I have got CP, the question is at what price must the plot be sold in order to gain 15%? So now the gain percent is 15%. So we just find out the formula for gain upon CP into 100 is equal to 15, right? That is the gain percent for us. So again, we will try to find out the gain. The gain comes out to be 3,300. Just look at this calculation. Here we have found out gain upon 22,000 into 100 is equal to 15. So this is the gain. So we have to find out the new SP, right? So CP plus gain is equal to the new SP, right? So whatever CP is there and you apply the gain, it will become the selling price. So 22,000 plus 3,300 will give us 25,300. That is the C option. So therefore that is our answer. Now let's go for this question. This question is again a question of linear equations in two variables. You can simply solve it, right? So look at this. It says 600 rupees is in the form of 2 rupees currency and 5 rupees coins, right? 2 rupees and 5 rupees coins. So we'll establish that the number of 2 rupees coins is X and number of 5 rupees coins is Y. So what will be the value of these coins? So we have, let's say we have 4 coins. So what will be the value of it? 2 into 4, right? It will be 8 rupees. Similarly, if you have X coins, the value of it will be 2X. If you have Y 5 rupees coins, the value of it will be 5Y. So 2X plus 5Y is equal to 600, right? This is one equation. The other equation says if the number of 2 rupees coins he has is 30 more than twice the number of 5 rupees coins. So 30 more than twice the number of 5 rupees coins is number of 2 rupees coins. So this is the another equation. So I'm simply going to put the value of X right here so that I get rid of one of the variables and I can solve it for Y, that is for 5 rupees coin. So that's what I have done. So I have put this value here and I have solved it. 2 into 30 is 60 plus 4y plus 5y is 600. So it is 60 plus 9y is equal to 9y is equal to 600 minus 60, that is 540. So y will be equal to 60. So that is the 5 rupees coins will be 60. So that A is the right answer. So if each age of the cube is doubled, so what is the surface area formula? It is 6a square. It has 6 sides, all of a square, so 6a square. If we double the side, it will become 6 into 2a whole square. That is 24a square. And we can see that 24a square is 4 times of 6a square. It is 4 times. So therefore the answer will be B. Very simple question. You can do it anyhow. And again, this question, you just have to read through the sentences. A number whose fifth part, that is, let's say the number is x, whose fifth part will be x upon 5, is increased by 5, is equal to the fourth part decreased by 5. So this is our equation. We will be solving it. So if you will solve this, we'll take the x this side, it will become 20, 4x minus 6, 5x minus 10. So minus x upon 20 is equal to minus 10, minus cancels, x will be equal to 200. So the number is 200. You can check it even by putting 200 here, you'll get the same thing. So the diameter of a wheel, this question is very good. Guys, try to understand that this is a wheel, let's say. Right, it has some diameter, right? It has some diameter and it walks. Let's say we start with this point. So in one revolution, when it comes back to this point, it has traveled all this area, the circumference of it, right? The wheel has traveled all this area in one lane. Let's say if we cut it down, and we just raise it like this. So it will be what? 2 pi r. This is the length covered by this vehicle, this circular wheel in one rotation. It is 2 pi r. We have been given the diameter, so we can also write it as pi d, right? 2r will convert into diameter. So this is the length covered in one revolution. It makes such 315 revolutions. So 315, will multiply this by 315 so that we can get the total number, the total distance traveled by it, right? In 350 revolutions, 15 revolutions, and it does that in only 1 minute, right? Wheels are very fast, right? So 1 minute. So if it is doing that in 1 minute, so what will it do in 60 minutes? We'll again multiply this by 60. So this will be the complete distance traveled by the wheel in 60 minutes, that is 1 hour, and it is given in centimeter because our diameter is given in centimeter. So therefore we'll have the distance traveled in 1 hour in kilometer, and that is actually the speed, distance traveled per kilometer, right? In 1 kilometer distance traveled. So let's try to find it out. So 1 minute 315 into 90x, 60 minutes this into 60. Now again we'll solve this. So I'm just replying this pi by 25 by 22 upon 7. I'm replacing it because it is given in the question as well, that we can take 22 upon 7. So now if we will solve this, so we have to convert, guys. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter, right? And 1 kilometer is 1000 meters. So we have to multiply this 1000 into 100. So that will be 10 to the power 5. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeter. Right, we have to divide it by this. So we'll divide it, we'll get 5346 upon 100, that is 53.4 kilometers in 1 hour. That is the distance, 53.4 kilometers in 1 hour. That is the speed also. So now let's try to solve this question. A can finish a piece of work in 12 hours. So in 1 hour it will do how much work? 1 upon 12. Right, it completes a work in 12 hours. So in 1 hour it will complete 1 upon 12 of the work. Similarly, B will complete 1 upon 15 of the work in 1 hour, right? So we'll add it. We'll get like 3 upon 20 in 1 hour. 3 upon 20 of the work in 1 hour. So the complete work, that is the one work, right? That is complete one work. So one work will be completed by both, and we'll divide 1 upon 3 upon 20, that is 20 upon 3 hours, and that will be our answer. We have to convert it into mixed fraction. So 3 into 6 is 18 plus 2 is 20 upon 3. That is B is the right answer. So guys, these are questions of inverse variations. You need to understand that we are actually going to the denominators for solving it. Now you have to add, this is very simple question, p square minus p cube plus q square minus qr plus r square minus pr. So it is p square plus q square plus r square, then pq plus qr plus pr, and all these minus, right? So p square plus q square plus r square minus pq minus qr minus rp. So very simple, B is the right answer. Let's try to solve this. This question is a good question, but you have done it many times, might have done it. So this is 5, we need to find out the square of it. So whenever we see a square, we should get this urge that where are we getting the square? By squaring it both sides. When we will square this, we'll get x square plus 1 upon x square, and because it is a reciprocal thing, will be actually helped here, right? Because this will get cancelled and this is 25. So we'll only have 2 here, right? This excess is cancelled, 1. So x square plus 1 upon x square will be nothing except 25 minus 2, that is 23. So therefore C is the right answer. Now in this question you have to find the cube of 1 3 upon 4. So the best method will be try to convert it first into improper fraction and then find the cube and then again convert it into the mixed fraction. 4 1 4 3 7 upon 4 whole cube. So what is 7 cube? That is, I guess, 49 into 7, what is that? 343, right? Yeah, that is 343. Right, 343 upon 64. Now we'll again divide. So we know that 64 is there. Now again I have to multiply this by 5. I guess C is the right answer. Yes, if we multiply this by 5, we'll get 320, right? And 23 will be on the numerator. So C will be the right answer. Let's do this question. This question is an interesting question, but very easy question. So if this is a parallelogram, KRIS, if this is a parallelogram, RISK. So we know that if this is 120, this would be nothing but 60 degree, because the co-interior angles, the parallel lines wala formula you can directly use here, right? It is 120, so this will be 60. Now this is 70. Now we are looking into this one. इस वाले parallelogram हम देख रहे हैं. So this is 70 degree. So what will be this? This will be 70 again, opposite angles, right? Opposite angles are equal. So this is 70. 70, 60 is 130. You can actually find out the third angle. So 180 minus 130 is nothing but 50 degree. So B is the right answer. So guys, that's all in the max section. Okay. So you'll be doing aptitude section of this. Bye bye. Take care. And go to the aptitude section.